大家观众大家好首先谢谢吕会计师跟团队给我这个机会跟大家分享一下这个美国的信托跟美国的保险的一些讯息这样子我是 Tony 尤兴燕，这样我父亲成立我们的这个经纪公司36年了所以也是就是第二代的这个传承的经营的这个方式。这样子，像吕会计师说的，我在美国我积累了18个专业证照，这样子这个目的
18张OK，
这目的就是说，从一个规划的角度的话，会比较周全就是说不会有一些瑕疵的规划的地方，所以这个部分的话，就是主要就是用规划，这样子我的专业就是在加州的信托律师信托法。我的专业是这个美国的人寿保险所以虽然我有投资的证照，虽然我有会计师的证照，可是我就是专门在这2个领域上，剩下都是只有有这个大概的经验跟了解，可是我也不报税，也不做投资等等的，跟大家说明一下但另外一点就是说角色来讲的话这个大局面的规划，这个就是吕会计师跟这个团队他们的专长而且他们最了解亚洲客户的需求跟情况，所以我这里只是他的就是解决事情的团队之一了所以我这里面就是说我就是需要加州信托这个部分我就非常专业我以前是在全美国最大的律师事务所做信托的，叫 ILIT 受训出来的所以对信托很理解，这样子我也以前在加州信托法庭里面有工作，帮这个法官做一些这个案子的分析跟这个决定的这个案子的这个结果，所以这个部分我对这个加州的这个信托为财富争吵的这个部分也非常非常理解所以就是说这吕会计师他把整个局面跟帮客户规划好的时候，需要我的部分我就可以协助客户。在另外一个领域就是这个人寿保险这部分，这个人寿保险部分是父亲在1986年成立的所以我自己也是18岁就拿到保险证照，所以刚好这个结合点就是说用人寿保险这个工具跟信托把它结合在一起，这个就是我的这个特别专长像保险这个部分，大家也知道，保险其实跟任何经纪人报出来价钱是一模一样，咱为什么不要找一个比较专业的律师跟会计执照的这个专业人士来帮客户做分析做讲解？这样最后一点就是说长期服务，因为这个保险这个部分也是长期以后要交接的所以这个部分我有父亲的这个传承36年的这个历史，我现在都在帮我父亲以前的客户在解决事情，这样我也在栽培我的下一代，这样希望这样子传承下去可以长久的帮客户做这个信托跟这个保险的服务但这以上就是我的大概介绍，就是信托跟保险是我的专长，谢谢。
好，谢谢。我们谢谢 Tony Tony 就是我们非常好的一个传承典范爸爸这样子这个一步一脚印的在洛杉矶那边耕耘那有了这个基础，那后来前几年我再回去跟 Tony 讨论一些相关的业务合作的时候，发现 Tony 现在把这个整个办公室搬到一个非常好的一个办公地点去了那改天的话，如果大家有时间也可以到 Tony 的 office 去坐一坐到洛杉矶的时候。那我想收到传承的话 ，Max 当然也是我们最好的一个传承的一个 sample 嘛因为接下来的话呢，他就透过这个信托保险来讲到这个传承相关的这些问题那我是不是我们请那个 Max 这个来跟大家分享一下这些相关信托跟保险的一些传承的案例跟说明，谢谢。
好 ，OK， 好，那谢谢 Peter 的introduction， 然后Tony 的 introduction 这样子。好，那hello everyone, my name is Max, and here to talk a little bit about U.S. life insurance and the related life insurance ILIT procedures and kind of case studies and such. So I'm here today with Tony and Peter, John, Megan. We're going to talk a little bit about U.S. life insurance and in regards to kind of the actual operations of different types of insurance, but also kind of the case studies in relationship with taxes and the legal aspects of purchasing life insurance in the States. And I think in regards to the TATA charity and kind of the firms that work with TATA charity, we're mostly doing cross-border work. So most of our clients have some sort of non-US first generation and then have kind of a second generation that's based in the US or kind of would like to immigrate to the US. So that's kind of mostly the targeted audience, but US persons are also, US persons definitely can also purchase life insurance, which we'll explain in some detail later on. So to begin this presentation, we kind of broke down the different categories of US life insurance, and in regards to US policies and non-US policies, there are kind of these different types of policies that are generally life insurance sold in the US. So generally there's four types of policies, and there's guaranteed policies, and then there's kind of non-guaranteed policies, and Tony will go into detail on these in Chinese in a little bit.
Hey, Max,
yeah.
Can I pause for a second?
Yeah.
I want to take a step back and just discuss really quick. When a lot of consumers hear about life insurance, they want to turn off the screen, okay? Life insurance is not a product that everybody's super excited about. It involves death, it involves salesmen. People are selling life insurance. But life insurance is a very powerful tool for succession planning. It has a lot of tax benefits. It has a lot of leverage. So I just want the audience to know that life insurance, when it's professionally designed with lawyers and CPAs, is a very popular tool as part of your diversification and asset class diversification and different product design and whatever you have in this part of the bigger design. Life insurance is a very powerful tool. 这样子人寿保险通常观众听到会觉得有反感，因为是一个在推销也在卖一个保险，或是觉得是一个不吉利的一个话题。可是所有在美国的主流社会。犹太人等等的，他们都有很多信托，里面也都至少有几份保单，所以这个部分 Max 今天跟我就是要强调这个主要目的是保险是一个值得学习的一个工具哈，让大家就是给我们一点时间让我们给你解释说不同的工具里面有什么东西可以来运用来做传承。节税这个传到下一代。Okay, sorry, Max. I just wanted to kind of guide everybody on the purpose of today's talk.
Okay, yeah, I think that's definitely some good points, Tony, and I'm going to kind of work on that part of it in the next couple of slides as well, because essentially we have a general structure for non-US persons mostly, and then that has kind of their existing structures and how they kind of transfer wealth in two ways, kind of cross-border between maybe Asia and the States, and then also cross-generation in regards to passing assets on from the first generation to the second generation, and so on. And as Tony mentioned, life insurance is a very important aspect of kind of that transfer, whether it's structured for kind of cash flow purposes in regards to having some investment cash flow ready for the future, or also or in regards to kind of the transition of assets from Asia to the States, the opening of various accounts to purchase these life insurance policies is also very important, which Megan will cover after that. All right, so going into kind of the different types of policies again, generally there's US policies and non-US policies. And I guess when we first contact a client, usually in Asia, they might have already purchased one or more of these policies, whether it's kind of a mix of US policies or kind of a mix of US and non-US policies. And I'm sure Tony has worked with clients on kind of both fronts of this and kind of analyzed this to much more detailed. So he'll be explaining this in Chinese, but I'll go over kind of the broad concepts pretty quickly. So in regards to US policies, there's guaranteed policies and non-guaranteed policies. And so these policies are just essentially different types of structures, different payment plans and kind of different payout structures in regards to US life insurance. Non-US policies, such as policies purchased in Hong Kong or Singapore, are usually more investment style policies, which are more like it depends on the quality of your investments, whereas US policies are generally geared more towards actual life insurance, the insurance of a person and the payout of a large sum upon the death of a certain person. And obviously there's different ways to structure it, and there's various ways to make it more financially tied or less financially tied, more guaranteed versus a less guaranteed policy. But as we can discuss later, there's actually various tax consequences, US tax consequences in regards to whether kind of different policies are treated as having income tax or gift tax consequences, as John previously mentioned. Yeah, so I think probably the best way to go forward with this is just to explain a little bit of the details behind different types of policies. And so in regards to US policies, generally these fulfill what we typically call Section 7702 or 7702A. And these are sections set by the IRS in regards to which type of policies have certain tax benefits in the US, et cetera. And so we'll go into that in more detail after. So I think the broad theme is that there's guaranteed policies and non-guaranteed policies, and then there's kind of the different cost of insurance tied to these policies. The most typical for kind of these small dollar amount policies is the guaranteed universal life, which is essentially what you think of as a normalized kind of the most normal insurance policy. You pay a certain dollar per month or per year, and then at the end of your life, you receive a certain amount of guaranteed benefit. And so this is really like a time value of money play, I guess. It's a guaranteed investment. It has a certain return that is uncertain depending on a certain person's death. And I guess the real things to consider when purchasing this policy is the chances of death and the time value of money aspect of it. So how quickly will you receive this cash flow? How quickly will the insured kind of pass? And then kind of the amount that you will receive versus the amount that you pay to the insurance company, which then determines kind of this time value of money concept, how long it takes for you to receive this cash flow versus how long you have to be paying down this insurance policy. And then there's kind of guaranteed variable life, which is kind of like a fixed cost of insurance. You're paying the same amount to insurance kind of every year, but the payout is potentially tied to financial indexes. So you're still paying a set amount of insurance fees on a monthly or an annual basis, but other financial indexes may have an impact on the return on the investment, the ultimate cash flow on the investment, et cetera. And then for the non-guaranteed policies, they're mostly index policies and then what we call PPLIs. These policies have a variable cost of insurance, which means that you're not necessarily paying the same sum per month on your policy. And they also have a variable rate of payout. So it really depends on your various investments and maybe the way you set up the insurance policy to begin with. Yeah, and so these are kind of the US policies that we commonly refer to. Non-US policies might be more heavily centered on the investment aspect of it. So their guaranteed payouts may be a little lower, or may not be as high as US policies, because they're structured more like investment vehicles. They're structured more like kind of, if we were to invest in like a portfolio of stocks and bonds, et cetera, they can generate varying returns, really. And so I guess non-US policies are less focused on the life insurance aspect and usually more focused on the investment aspect. And so their guaranteed payout might be low. Like, for example, if you buy a $100 policy, the guaranteed payout might only be $110. However, if the underlying investments are successful, then upon the death of a certain individual, the death of the insured, upon the death of the insured, they might be a significantly higher payout if the underlying investments are going well. And so those are kind of the differences. Generally, non-US policies don't fulfill 7702 or 7702A. We've never really seen a policy that's non-US to fulfill these kind of guidelines because they're kind of more specifically tailored for US policies. And the US IRS kind of has set out some of these guidelines. And so those are kind of the major aspects. And then I guess the other aspect of it is for non-US policies, specifically if the owner of these policies is a US person, there might be income tax consequences. And so that really kind of may eat into the return of these non-US policies. Yep. Tony, do you have something to add or?
No, you can go to the Chinese version.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
And we got to speed it up. We have a lot of slides to go through.
Okay. 那 Dennis 下一个。
OK， 所以我就是跟 Max 跟我是做翻译的哈，我是今天是 Max 的这个国语版这样子这个 slide 的主要重点就是说美国保单跟亚洲保单的主要的区别哈。这样子美国保单它是一个杠杆型，就是有 leverage 的一个保单，它这个是有历史政治上的历史来源的哈。因为1950年代的时候，那时候就很多人就去买这些东西去逃税去避税，所以政府就是说我这要去更改，所以每个保单里面都要有一个杠杆比例，比如说你摆1块钱就一定要4块钱5块钱的理赔，这个才真正算这个美国的保单 ，OK？ 所以这个是一个政治上的一个政府强势压迫在美国保单行业里面，就是说一定要有一个杠杆的这个比例。所以亚洲保单它是没有这个政府的要求，所以亚洲保单就是它的费用不是在保费跟理赔上，它是在确定说有一个回本给这个投资上的这个东西给客户的哈。所以这个主要大区别就是杠杆型是美国杠杆型的保单。好，但是美国的保单里面它有2个主要的类型的保单，一个是保证型保单，另外是非保证型保单。但保证型保单它的意思就是说，你投进去的保费，不管景气怎么样子，不管保单里面的表现现金价值表现怎么样子，你永远都不需要再多缴1毛钱。这个是保证型保单的这个优点哈。但它的缺点是什么？缺点是它的里面的现金价值没办法让客户去运用一运用的话这个保证就不见了哈。所以它的这个好处坏处在这里。但是另外一个类型的保单，美国保单就是非保证型保单。非保证型保单就是说你保费摆进去，这样子这个里面资金去投资，不管是指数，不管是共同基金，或是赚公司的这个红利或利息等等的哈。假如说这个表现好的话，这样子它会足够应付保单的以后的内部费用。好，内部费用跟保费是2个不同的道理。内部费用是按照客户的被保人的年纪去算的，你年纪越大的时候，这个保单会继续扣更多的这个费用从这个保单里面哈。所以非保证型保单是有风险的，因为假如说表现不够好，没有以前估计的那么好的话，这个以后的内部费用是不够去养这个保单，所以客户还要以后多付保费，要去填补这个差额在里面。所以它的坏处在这里，好处就是说它这个现金价值是方便去拿出来的、借出来等等的哈。所以这个就是保证型跟非保证型。那我最后要讲就是 PPLI 这个私募的这个寿险是现在最流行的方式。很多客户非常有钱的，他想说我去投资一个私人一个量身定造的人寿保单，最低费用的 我拿来去做投资，去做私募，去做private equity 等等的一些投资，每一毛里面都是免税的。可是它是这个的做法是买最低保额、最低的费用，去享受到最好的这个免税的这个福利在里面。再晚一点我们还会强调这一点。